So looking back at your career journey, what project management principles had the most impact to you, and how can listeners apply those to navigating forward?
You know what? Even when it comes to your career, it's really important to take ownership about your stuff. Like, no one is going to give you the best outcome on the goal plate. This is only you who is capable of taking what you really need. And then when it comes to project management, I'd say it's gonna be growth mindset. You need to treat every experience as a stepping stone, especially when it comes to failure, better to take it as a gift. Another one is discussion communication, where you are leading teams, networking, connecting with stakeholders. Their communication and settling expectations is a key. Well, maybe the last one that I suggest to keep in the loop is continuous improvement. So it's really important to always iterate, to learn, to refine, and always to take feedback to grow further and adapt your skills.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life and IT Project Management, where we bridge the gap between life and IT project management with practical, relatable content for aspiring PMs and seasoned professionals alike. In this episode, I am thrilled to be joined by Krishna Kushner, who has been delivering AI and tech solutions while leading globally distributed teams since 2015. As a PMP certified project manager, she specializes in software projects and is passionate about helping others break into tech. Of course, no coding required. Now, through her YouTube channel, Project Management Sandbox, she shares practical tips and tools for aspiring project managers who want to thrive in the tech world. She's also a proud Women Tech Global Awards finalist and an advocate for diversity and inclusion, working to uplift and mentor talent across tech communities. Excited to share her journey and insights with you. Join me in welcoming Kristina.
Thanks a lot for the introduction, and thank you for having me on the show today.
Awesome. The topic of today's episode is Agile versus Waterfall. What if you manage to carry out like a project? And the reason for this started with helping based on what is going on globally, right? So many job losses and all that, that there has to be an approach, a different approach if you are 90 with how we access opportunities, how we plan sales opportunities, how we think about it. But she is here to help us see things from all those perspectives and make sure that we're on track towards our career objectives. All right, and that will lead me to the first question. So looking at both agile and waterfall approaches, do you think there's a middle ground when it comes to career management? You might want to start with, okay, for those who don't really understand what it means to be agile, what it means to be waterfall, you might want to start with, okay, fine, this is what those are, then this is what a middle ground might be, and so forth. So looking at both approaches, do you think there's a middle ground when it comes to management?
That's an amazing question, especially given indeed what's going on in the industry these days and those funny curves that careers might take. So when it comes to the difference between agile and waterfall, let's talk about those terms first of all. So waterfall is the classical predictive approach when it comes to planning and project management, when we know upfront every single step that we are going to take ahead of us in order to deliver the result. When it comes to agile, here we embrace more flexibility and adaptability. We kind of know what's the bigger goal out there, but at the same time, we do not predict every single action that we will do towards this goal. Like, we are breaking it down into the iterations, and we're planning for 1 or 2 iterations ahead to see how are we doing, reflect on the results, and adjust if applicable. And that sounds like a good idea when it comes to the changes in the career world, When it comes to the middle ground, to be honest, indeed, I feel there is a middle ground between waterfall and agile. So first of all, long-term planning. This is something we might be hearing when we are at the interview, like where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years ahead? Well, that's about waterfall. We can have some idea where are we going to go in the long run, let's say in a few years ahead. But in reality, when it comes to day-to-day operations and planning, I prefer to stay a little bit more fluid, flexible, and allowing opportunities that could help pivot if necessary. To be honest, when it comes to career planning, I was always leaning towards the bold goals, the big goals, though dreaming big has its own caveats and downsides. For instance, if you had an amazing idea about some goal ahead of you, from the first glance, sometimes it might seem even unrealistic to accomplish it. Like standing on bottled ground and looking up top on the Everest. How can you climb there if you have never been climbing before?
Yeah.
And that's actually when it comes to waterfall. We can set this amazing bold goal in front of us or on top of us to understand, okay, someday I want to be there. But in reality, really challenging to understand what steps we need to take in order to accomplish this amazing, incredible goal. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to lead Everest down, not to climb, but kind of walk towards the bigger goal. And it actually helps to break down the destination into the visible milestones or iterations. You have some sort of objective in front of you that you know, hey, I can accomplish it. But at the same time, you can still see the bigger picture in front of you as well.
No, thank you. Yeah, it does make sense. So, not essentially a middle ground. What you and you could correct. What you explained is having both infused in such a way that, yes, for example, someone wants to become an IT program manager. That's an objective. Yes. But based on, for example, what is currently available, what the industry currently needs, and so forth, you can still expand your skill set. It's not an abandonment of the goal. No, it's just an expansion of your skill set to accommodate what the current needs are. You are fluid, right? You stay fluid, but you still inch towards integrate and still inch towards gradually towards that goal of someday becoming an IT program manager for your own benefit, right? So that's what I'm hearing. Am I wrong, or is there anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, that's also a kind of blend in between, like a hybrid approach, or it's also kind of in the tech world. So we are keeping in mind the bigger thing when it comes to, I don't know, releasing a product, let's say. But at the same time, we need to understand what's available in front of us, what do we have on the table, and what options we can manipulate with.
Right. And that leads me to the next question. So the next question speaks to, I've already touched on the blend of both approaches. I would go into a part of it that speaks to the pressure of the
Mm-hmm.
long-term goals. So for example, like I was speaking to someone and the person said, oh, they wanted to climb up corporate ladder. But what was before them had them segueing into different things, right? So how do you handle, in your own perspective, how have you handled the pressure of, I want to get up there, but what is currently available, or what
Mm-hmm.
the industry currently needs, or what your enterprise currently needs or affords you, opportunity that affords you, is not creating that growth, right? So how do you handle the pressure of the long-term goals versus the need to stay flexible?
That's a good one. Like indeed, sometimes it might be tricky. We definitely might have some idea, like where I want to be, but at the same time, like as you say, we need to understand the reality and to play the cards we haven't. So when it comes to the long-term goals, usually what I try to stick to is kind of planning environment-wise rather than sticking myself to some particular title or thing. So it helps me to understand, okay, what are the assets that I'm willing to accomplish versus I want this title in this company by that year. Like it doesn't allow a lot of flexibility. Yeah, and by keeping this in mind, you also need to understand the changing world. and not to attach too much to some ideas that potentially can change down the road. And when it comes to changes, like, as you know, it might be unpredictable sometimes when it comes to career, but the point is to try to grab those chances and to turn them into the benefit of yours, finding an opportunity within those changes that are coming towards you in your journey. So for instance, when we talk about the bigger goal, as we discussed, we're trying to break that into the milestones or iterations. And being flexible, we're trying to understand, okay, what can I accomplish within a particular iteration and what steps can I take that could bring me closer to this bigger goal. The interesting thing here is that by the end of this iteration and reviewing what you have done, you may uncover such amazing opportunities that you haven't even had in front of you at the beginning of the milestone because you didn't have the skills or experience by them. It's kind of, to me, I also like to take it as you're playing some sort of a computer game and you need to level up. You need to level up avatar in order to understand, okay, what can you do now?
Thank you so much. What I get from what you explained is about you being wherever you are, whatever competency, whatever skill sets you have, and whatever opportunities are presented, you continue to do your best, access them, explore them, deliver on them, because everything at some point will come together to benefit. And this also speaks to people not being able to sell themselves well. The more experience you gather in your role, the more learning you gather in your role, the more things you do. That also, when detailed, when explained well, should help you qualify, help you fit into an opportunity that may come. I'll give you an example. Someone who was a lawyer and got into project management, thinking that she was making a full career transition into project management. She found an opportunity where they needed a project manager with legal with, with legal license in a specific area. So what I'm just trying to say is that it all adds up eventually. It's not always. You want to add to that, or
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually thinking about something more, say, when it comes to balancing your actual expectations in terms of the role versus what you're willing to get in terms of the benefits from being in this role. So sometimes it's really hard to predict what opportunities will come to you from the market. You might be looking, let's say, for the Scrum Master role, but eventually you will land a job as program manager. But when it comes to the environment, for instance, you can set up an idea that you would like to work with the teams located in some particular area, or you would like to work with the projects within the specific niche or industry. So this could also help you understand, okay, what skills you need to acquire in order to get this specific asset from the next role when you're willing to be. But your point is also really great, like leveraging benefits from being a lawyer versus becoming a project manager in the legal industry. There's also an opportunity to find out. I'm one like there. Like, what do I need to do next in order to accomplish what I'm looking for?
okay, that leads me to the next question. So in Agile, of course, teams hold daily stand-ups to stay aligned and address roadblocks. So do you have any career rituals or habits that help you stay focused because and address challenges along the way? So for example, you can be applying and applying and applying, and all these things we've discussed can also be causing you to just digress a bit. But how do you stay focused and of course keep on addressing challenges along the way?
Great question. I actually do have a couple of rituals or habits that I'm trying to stick to. Like, without consistency, it's impossible to move forward. First, I'm usually starting small. Like, I like the old school thing, writing down the goals. Like, it could be done anywhere, like in a notebook or in a virtual whiteboard or really on a wall in your apartment. So it doesn't really matter where you're going to write them down. What matters is that you have the quick access to your notes and you are able to rebrush them, revise them on demand wherever you need it. That's the first thing. Another one is the actual reflection on the progress, some sort of the stand-up, the ones that you have been referring to. So it's always good to reflect on what you have been doing recently and what you have managed to accomplish. For instance, myself, I try to allocate like weekly, sometime, normally over the weekend, not really much, up to 1 hour to just reflect, okay, what I have been doing during the past week, what worked for me, what didn't work, what would be my next step given what I currently have. It actually also helps to set up the mood for the upcoming week and kind of define some sort of the feasible scope. And by the way, when it comes to the scope, there is one cool thing. Like to me, it sounds like cool, and I have recently tried it, and I liked it real much. I'm trying to set less ambitious goals within the smaller time frame. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not declining my bigger goals. I'm talking about the small milestones, the small iterations. And here's what I'm talking about. Like, for instance, we're talking about a day or a week maximum. I'm trying to write down the bare minimum that I'm confident I will be able to accomplish within the given time. And I'm just sticking to this list. So what happens at the end of this milestone, let's say the end of the day, or if we started talking about weeks, let's talk about weeks. So I have this scope that I was trying to do. This actually could be multiple things, not necessarily only your goal-related things, but kind of your chore, like go to the bank, I don't know, like meet with your friends or network within your area or get some feedback, whatever that helps you accomplish the next level. So when you're revising this list, you see that, okay, I was confident I could accomplish this, and I committed to those activities at the very beginning, and I see that I have managed to do that. I have stroked every single line from what I have done, and that's great. It's like, good girl, you have done really well. But what also happens sometimes, my list goes down the road. Like, I have managed to accomplish what I consider the bare minimum, and I have also add additional lines on top of that. And that's amazing. Like, it's a beautiful feeling, and it really helps me keep myself motivated. All right.
Awesome. Yeah. So I do have daily rituals, sort of like my own daily stand-ups. Then I also do have weekly reflections. I don't
That's cool.
leave them to be bi-weekly. I make sure that, like you said, in your case too, it's a weekly thing. I cannot even share how structured my life is. I have a performance. So there was a time when my performance was about 55%. What that means is when I do a 135 and I say, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to do this, I want to do that. The things I want to learn towards my goal, I make sure I accomplish that because those are usually top priority for me. And I do have these priorities. I have family, I have so many things. So I have something that are less priority. But there was a time when at a complete whole, I was achieving 5% on my goals. So I had to now keep tweaking so that I got to 75%. When you use Excel, so that I can constantly refine and say, okay, fine. Yesterday I was at 5%. Today I want to be at 75%. Tomorrow I want to be at whatever percent, right? So depending. And I'm flexible enough. Yes, I have specific schedule, but I'm flexible enough to just to whatever's coming, I take it and readjust. Whatever's coming, I take it and readjust. So, but that took a while. I don't knock myself in the head and get it when things don't go as planned. Anyway, so that really helps with tracking towards career goals, career objectives as well.
That sounds
Now that
mind-blowing.
leads to the next question. So now Agile encourages embracing failure as a learning opportunity. Can you share a time in your career when something didn't go as planned and how that failure shaped you?
I had so many cases, some things went not as I planned. The beauty of Agile is also in the empowerment for continuous improvement. If thinking about the particular cases, what pops up in my mind, earlier in my career, I was pretty lucky to work in the company with great projects, There were complex projects with amazing opportunity to collaborate with stakeholders from multinational companies. And I really adored those moments. Like the career went exactly as I had planned it. I haven't even wished more. As I have mentioned, I have been just enjoying every single step that I've been taking there. However, normally when it comes to huge responsibility, it also comes hand in hand.
Yes.
It's a significant pressure, Like I guess all project managers were there. But like the worst thing about this particular case is that I was not prepared to this at the particular moment. When I was thinking about my career growth, about the steps that I mapped for myself, I was not considering those downsides. And I was just thinking about the glory of those flashlights where I will be standing when I will accomplish the best of what I can. And that's why it's really hit me badly at that moment. It made me even take some time to seriously reassess my goals and priorities. And this exercise helped me to find out that back then the professional balance was really more important to me rather than the goal that I was targeting to accomplish. Like in other words, I have just failed to stick to my career journey that I have planned for myself. That was extremely discouraging, and I needed to find out how to pivot in order to make myself grow continuously. But at the same time, I needed to change something of what's happening in my professional life. The good thing was that by then I had already some experience and I have collected some number of use cases that I was able to start sharing. And I was actually very open to start sharing with the community and start giving back to the professional industry. So what I did then, I decided to pivot my career and I started to create a blog about project management. That was a significant change from the corporate life to a content creator. And the next several months, I was dedicating actually to acquiring these skills, mostly within the content creation industry. And eventually, it opened a lot of good opportunities as well, such as mentoring, public speaking, and collaboration within the professional niche. So that was quite a transformation for me, and I learned resilience. I learned to be confident in handling complex situations and also to stay flexible, which is not less important to be thoughtful when it comes to planning my career goals. Yeah, by the way, without this change, I don't know if we would be able to meet and talk today. So that's an interesting curve.
Awesome. Fantastic. Your journey is something to learn from. And it's also like, there are so many Scrum Masters who just want to, they see the shiny objects, they jump in, they get hit by, they get to be responsible for, to an extent, to be made responsible for certain delivery, certain outcomes. They cannot deliver because, first of all, they did not drown themselves in the profession. You did mention grinding yourself in the profession, in your career, being competent, being the best version of yourself, as opposed to some shiny object up there or some promotion up there or whatever, right? That really should be the priority. And most of us shouldn't go through failure before we learn, but humans learn only through getting their hands burned, right? But it's important to be agile. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was very vulnerable and that was very useful. That was very useful for so many too. Now, so looking back at your career journey from entering tech without coding skills to leading globally distributed engineering teams and mentoring in women tech communities, what project management principles had the most impact to your career and how can listeners apply those to navigating?
You know what? You have just been talking about taking responsibility about the delivery, and that also landed me to the interesting thought that even when it comes to your career, it's really important to take ownership about your success. Like no one is going to give you the best outcome on the goal plate. This is only you who is capable of taking what you really need when it comes to growing either in the corporate ladder or in any other career direction. But I'd say the first good step to take. Then when it comes to project management principles, I'd say it's gonna be growth mindset, because you need to treat every experience as a stepping stone, especially when it comes to failure. It's better to take it as a gift and to understand what you could do differently and what you have learned there. Another one is sufficient communication. No
Third
matter
one.
where you are leading teams, networking, connecting with stakeholders, clear communication and setting expectations is a key step. Well, maybe the last one that I suggest to keep in the loop is continuous improvement. So it's really important to always iterate, to learn, to refine, and always to seek feedback to grow further and to learn and adapt my skills. I really hope those
Fantastic.
suggestions will help our listeners.
They will help a whole lot. And I'm sure that the women tech communities that you speak with definitely benefit from what you just said. I like the fact that taking ownership of your success is something to be thought through. Opportunities will not be given to you. You know, you have to seize opportunities. You have to go out there. You have to get out there. You have to be better. You have to effectively communicate. You have to be your best. You have to grow. But you have to constantly be on point so that when the opportunities come from, you can competently deliver. But more importantly, you are steering your own ship, right, towards your own career objectives, right? You are still in control of that, regardless. No corporate entity will give you that. You own that. You should drive that. Thank you so much, Kristina. I really appreciate everything you've shared with the community, with the world. At this point, I would ask, how can the audience reach you, and if they need any mentorship from you, how best can be assisted?
Pleasure of mine. I really enjoyed our conversation today. And when it comes to connecting with me, I'm happy if people will reach out either via my YouTube channel or they're welcome to find me on LinkedIn. So I guess we can share the links still, and that would be
Yeah,
the best channels to accept.
awesome. Thank you so much. All right. At this point, I would repeat what I usually repeat through each episode. Every man is the architect of his own fortunes, and that ties to the last things that she said. And we are fully aligned with that. And please, the ship is yours here. No one will steer it for you. Thank you.